All right. We are here today as we begin our KRVN conversation with an august group of folks from the Dawson County Museum, and Director Crystal Werger is here. Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Scott?
So you have a special thing going on this weekend, a presentation there. Kind of introduce us a little bit to what you wanted to do with this.
Well, we're still celebrating Lexington's 150th birthday, so I wanted to bring Joe Jeffrey and Diane Jeffrey into the picture because they live on Robb Ranch, and Robb Ranch is celebrating its 150th birthday as well, and Joe is part of the fourth generation of the Robb Jeffrey family that has been living there, and he always has wonderful stories to tell, and I love bringing him to the museum to talk. And not only do I want to hear from Joe, but I want to hear from Diane as well, because she has a wonderful story to tell as well, because she was brought from Arizona to the Robb Ranch. So I want them to tell their story about the history of Robb Ranch.
All right. Very good. Well, let's go straight to the horse's mouth, as it were. And, I have introduced you at times as the most interesting man in Dawson County, so no pressure there for you today, Joe.
I appreciate that. Really appreciate that. No pressure.
So let's go. We're going to go back to 1874, right?
That is correct. February now. That's the middle of the winter.
Wow.
Why anybody be here in February in 74 is beyond me, but great-granddad showed up here.
Where was he from? Where did he come from?
He came from Kankakee. Well, no, he came from, the Robbs came out of Scotland, and then he came from Illinois and all around, so I'm not really sure the history of where he did come from originally, but...
A lot of folks from this area seem to have come from Illinois at one point. So, yeah, that's interesting.
He had some land down. He went to war. He replaced a guy because the guy paid him to take his place. Well, then he gave him his farm back in Illinois, and he heard there was land out in central Nebraska. So he got on a train and rode to a little town called Plum Creek at that time, and got off the train and went south of town and homesteaded a chunk of ground there south of the Platte River.
Did he come to be a dirt farmer, or did he come to be a rancher, do you think?
He came to be a rancher, and he had a lot of hired men. Bill Robb didn't believe in doing a whole lot of work. He had, one time, I think he had about 20 hired men. So,
wow.
But also, one time he moved from here up to Sutherland. And the story goes he had nearly a township of property up there. Now, that's 36 sections.
Yeah.
But the Applegates, the Elfelts, all those people up there, and he sold out to them. And some of his family stayed up there in the Sutherland area, but he moved down to Plum Creek, and he thought, well, I'll just stay down here, and then he bought the neighbors out. He homesteaded over in Gosper County, in the northeast corner of Gosper County, on Robb Precinct, Robb Ranch, Robb Cemetery, Robb School District. They named it all after him.
Right. I'll be darned. Well, and you still live on that ranch then,
yes,
is that
do.
right?
Yep.
You and Diane.
Yep.
And how many acres now is it?
Well, it's only down about 400 acres now, but it was about 6,000. And the family is like a tree. It starts off with a root, and then all of a sudden all the branches and stuff. And some of them live in South Dakota, and some live in Iowa, and some live in Colorado, and some live in Missouri. And so they're too far away. They weren't interested at all in maintaining the van, so they split it up, basically, is what they did.
So on Sunday at the museum at 2 o'clock, you're going to be tell us what you're going to be talking about.
Well, I guess Crystal has a bunch of pictures lined up for me, and I'm supposed to tell what each picture represents. These are pictures that have been in the family for probably, I'm going to say maybe 60, 70 years, maybe longer than that, maybe 80-some years. And I'm supposed to know who the people are in the picture. Well, I have been known to exaggerate, so maybe I will know.
Well, or you'll have a good story if you don't. So,
yes, I will.
And maybe there'll be an outhouse or a fence post involved in it.
Could be a fence post or two, yep. And the old buildings on the Jeffrey Island, they call it now, Jeffrey Island. And that island was owned by about 6 or 7 other homesteaders. And he bought everybody out. And I couldn't buy the middle guy out. The middle guy didn't sell, so he had to go just ask permission to go from one end of his property to the other because of the Jeffrey Island.
It's just the history of all of these places are just filled with so many ebbs and flows and good times and bad, and so you're going to let everybody know a little bit about all those, and that you at least, or some that you make up too, maybe.
Well, I've been known to make up a story or two, yeah. So it could be some of it could be actual, and some of it could be what I remembered.
So you need to come, dear listener, on Sunday and see if you can figure out what he's to tell the truth time with Joe Jefferies. So thank you so much for coming today.
Well, it's my pleasure, and I hope to see you and a lot of people there Sunday afternoon, and good Lord willing, and it's raining like crazy.
I hope so.
Hope it's raining, and
you better come to the gallery because
Yep.
it's going to be raining too hard to work. That's what we're saying right now.
Wear your hip waders. Yep, lots of rain.
I'm going to say, if you're giving stories, hip waders would be a pretty good idea anyway. So there you go. That's Joe Jeffrey, Crystal Werger a little bit earlier, as a big presentation taking place this Sunday at 2:00 at the Dawson County Museum.